Hi and welcome, I'm Sarah and I love my air dry clay projects. Over here on Red Rocking Bird there are so many air dry clay projects for you to follow. A question I get asked all of the time is, can we make air dry clay coasters? Yes, of course we can make air dry clay coasters. We just have to make sure they are heat proof and water resistant, and in this video I will show you how, so let's come and see. Here I have my air dry clay fresh out of the packet. This is such a practical air dry clay project. I really hope you make some of these coasters and find some inspiration from this video. I recommend rolling the clay out to about 1/4 of an inch in thickness. I always turn my clay back over, make sure the underside is nice and smooth, make sure the top is also nice and smooth, and then get some cookie cutters, or you could use a knife and cut out whatever shape coaster you wish. I thought these hexagons were really cute and a little bit different. Take a damp paintbrush and smooth out the edges. Now leave the air dry clay to dry out completely. The clay is now fully dry and we can take some sandpaper and smooth out any imperfections. I have some acrylic paint and I'm painting on my design. More details of how I painted these can be found on my air dry clay gifts video. Now on to sealing them and making them lovely and glossy. I've made a little stand out of some plasticine and I have a silicone mat, or if you have a larger silicone mat you can cover your entire table. To seal these I'm going to use some resin, and you can find in the description below all the links to all these products. This is UV resin, so you don't need to mix 2 parts together for this. I've squirted out a small amount onto my silicone tray. To apply the resin you can use a brush, but I prefer to use a small stick, just like a toothpick, or this burger skewer. I'm taking a really small amount of the resin onto the end of the stick and smoothing it over the edges of my air dry clay coaster. I find it easier to do the edges first, but you might choose a different way to do yours, but we just want to make sure that the whole piece is fully sealed with resin. As you can see, I'm wearing gloves. Always make sure you protect all surfaces, clothing, and wear gloves, and work in a well ventilated area, or you could always wear a mask as well. This is a fairly easy process, you just have to be patient and take your time. The trick is to really not put too much on and really sort of tickle it across the edges. This is where my plasticine stand comes in, so I'll balance it in place there, and then to cure the UV resin you can either use a UV lamp or you can put it in direct sunlight. This is a lamp that I have from doing my nails. To help reflect the rays from all angles I'm using this piece of tinfoil and helping those rays go back inside by folding it up. I put the lamp on for about 2 minutes. Once you get used to the process, you can do yourself a little production line and keep applying the resin to new coasters as some are under the lamp. The sides are now cured, and the next step I like to do is to resin the base. I do this in the same way as I've done the sides, taking my small stick and painting this all over the base. I need just a little bit more there, so it is okay to squirt a small amount onto the base and smooth this out. I like to do the resin on the base quite thinly, but you can go thicker as you wish, and I'll show you how we do it a little thicker on the top. Make sure every little bit is completely covered. As before, cure the resin. As I said, you can do this in the sun if you wish. I often take mine once they are cured and put them on the windowsill anyway. The base and the sides are all resined, so it's now time to make the top lovely and glossy. I add more resin to the top and allow the resin to dome slightly. So you can squirt a generous amount to the top surface. Again, pushing this to the edges, just don't push it over the edge, but as we have a straight edge for the side, it should just pool and make a dome and not drip over the edge, but if it does, you just need to clean it up. If it does accidentally drip and you get some hard resin after it's cured, you can file this off. Continue pushing the resin to the edge, and I just need to add a little extra here so I can do this while it's still wet. If you wish, you could always add a thinner coat and cure it, and then add another coat over the top. I have a few bubbles here. You can take a toothpick and pop them, or leave them for 5 minutes before you cure them, or you can take a heat torch or a lighter and run this gently over the top to pop those bubbles. Make sure every bit of the clay is completely sealed with the resin. If you look closely, it is quite easy to see any little bits that you have missed. Keep continuing the process and allow your resin to cure. I really love how these are turning out, and air dry clay and resin works really well for me, and I hope you give it a go as well. Keep going with the step-by-step process and make yourself a set of coasters and many more. As I say with all of my projects, relax, take your time and enjoy the process. And there we have it, coasters that are practical and very usable. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.